turn that back. This is Rick.
I'm Eric.
And this is our spoiler talk for The Witch.
If you haven't seen the movie, don't watch this shit because there's a lot of shit to talk about.
We're going to completely spoil the whole movie.
Yeah, so we'll link to that down below. And where?
Huh?
Where? What the fuck were you pointing at earlier?
Oh, and the card right here that I'm going to add. So I guess we'll jump right into the ending, I guess, like our sort of overall interpretation of the movie, because it is very metaphorical, allegorical, I guess, if you want to say. A lot of
symbolism.
A lot of symbolism in the movie. The first two acts is a lot of build up going into the last, maybe 20 minutes of the movie. About right there. Once all the shit goes down and the horn devil, I guess, if you want to say, and symbolized in the goat, snaps the shit up of the dad and
kills the dad. Then
how did the mom? Oh no, then Thomason ends up killing her mom.
Yeah, it's just really crazy how it's basically, I don't know, man. It's kind of has to go back also to religion, man. How this just fucking kind of corrupts people in a way when you kind of. You're so like it's strong, like, because I mean throughout the whole film we see like the both the parents kind of like just tell the kids like, hey, like if you don't pray to God, or if you don't do this or that in a certain way, like the devil's gonna get to you, or the demon or the witch or whatever. Because I mean the whole time we get that explanation from Thomason that the baby was taken, and we get the rumor supposedly that there's a witch, and that kind of goes back to them, blaming even the Thomason at one point, where the little kids, the twins, they kind of say that she's the witch and she's the one that took the baby and that she sacrificed him. For me, the way I was watching it, and maybe it was the way that I was raised Catholic, like just the way that these people talk about religion, and like it just, I don't know, in the way I think it kind of shows how it can corrupt someone, and how it can lead like this entire family to kind of fall apart and end up basically everyone fucking dies.
I mean, and they believe so strongly in what they do that they're willing to leave their whole town and their family and friends behind. To go out and venture out on their own.
Obviously, they're strongly religious, and they don't agree with the way that other people conduct their lives, so that's why they decide to leave. I mean, that's really what we get from it. We don't get too much, because that's really only like the first couple minutes of the film, and then it jumps right into when they leave. Yeah,
and actually, I think one of the things that I kind of noticed is that. Mixed in with the religion. I mean, I'm not gonna really get into like what I believe or what I don't believe, but I think like one of the big central things in the movie, like if you kind of think about it, is that there are like a lot of lies going on here. There's like, even kind of like the whole movie, what it kind of messes with you, and even it kind of leads into in the ending, is that. When the twin, remember when Caleb and Thomason,
the girl,
the little girl of the twins, that when Thomason and Caleb are she's like washing the clothes in the river, and she kind of Thomason jokes around with I forgot the little girl's name, but anyway, they're joking around, and she says that she's the witch, and and the little girl believes it, and then right away tells the parents later on, oh, she's the witch,
Well, at first she got scared, but then when that shit started happening, after Caleb came back, and they started freaking out, that's when the little girl just broke, and she said, oh, she told me to not say anything, and she's gonna kill us all or whatever. And then that's when kind of everybody, almost the entire family, except for maybe the dad, kind of turns on Thomason, like the mom basically like fucking shuns her. The dad he doesn't want to believe it, but at the same time like he's kind of doubting it,
There was that lie. There was like the lie about the
dad lied.
Well, that's what I was gonna say about the cup. The cup, because the mom just sort of thought that it just kind of disappeared, or that somebody misplaced it, or and then he kept that lie from them because he sold it. I mean, obviously because he needed money. Because I mean you could see like their crops were going to shit. And they needed to survive, and so that's why they ended up going out into the woods. Supposedly, I think they were gonna go hunt the wolf, right? Because didn't they say that it was like a wolf that stole the baby? But anyway, it's like
Bitch, what do you mean the wolf stole the baby, man?
Didn't they say that a wolf stole the baby?
How the fuck is a wolf gonna steal the baby?
Yeah, because isn't that why they went out to the woods to go chase him down?
No, because the only one that was with the baby was Thomason. Well, anyway, they were. I think they were just hunting because they needed food. Yeah. Remember, he tells Caleb, "Oh, we can't grow our food. We need to hunt it." Yeah. That's why they go hunting, and then that's when they run into the rabbit. Yeah. And that's like the first kind of. I mean, we see the witch before. Well, actually, we didn't mention the witch at the beginning because that's the first scene of one of the first scenes.
Basically, she was trying to be pure like Frank on.
She fucking liquefies the baby.
She pretty
liquefies the baby, and
like she bathes in the blood and like the guts and all that shit.
Yeah, it's really
that part was pretty crazy. Actually.
Yeah, it was creepy. like that moment, and I think that like that's one of those moments where I was watching. I was like towards the beginning of the film, like that shit was actually kind of creepy, man. I was like, damn, I was kind of shivering.
Yeah.
That whole scene where you see like the witch and like fucked up. I mean, obviously we know she kills the baby, and I like all know that she just it was really disturbing. You know, like we don't really see a lot, but the little bit that we do see, like it's effective. You know, and it gets to the viewer.
It's not a subtle hint that the what's it called, Philip? Like that's the name of the goat, right?
The goat, yeah.
I mean, obviously that's a symbol. That's a symbol for the devil. Obviously, because you see Thomason follow it into the shack, and then she starts talking to it, and then that part actually was kind of creepy too. It works in that same way, like where the less you see, it's kind of creepy. Where she starts talking, and then like you can see him like kind of come around her, and like you don't really ever see his face. Like he's just kind of like in the shadows.
Yeah.
You kind of see him, and then like he puts his hand on her shoulder. And like that part was like just like kind of freaky too.
Yeah, that shit was kind of creepy.
But,
that was after she had killed the mom.
Yeah, and so I think that's part of like I kind of think that maybe like maybe the whole time, because obviously she starts talking to the devil and kind of I don't remember her exact words, but she says something along the lines of, you know, what is it that you want from me? Like what is it that you ask? You kind of start wondering if maybe she kind of had. I mean, obviously the goat kills the dad. Then Thomason kills the mom.
And we don't even know what happens to the little kids, the twins.
You kind of wonder if maybe Thomason kind of had this like sort of dark side in her the whole time, and maybe that was why that goat was even there. Like maybe, or maybe that's why when it leads up to the ending, when you see her go out into the woods naked, and you know she sees like this circle of, I guess, other witches, if you want to call them that.
Yeah. They're having like that ritual around the fire.
Yeah, and then like they all like end up.
That shit was creepy, man.
They all end up floating into the sky.
That
now that I think about it, that shit was kind of creepy.
That shit was creepy as fuck. Man.
Yeah, so like I mean, she obviously like doesn't really fight it. She just kind of goes along with it, and like maybe it awakens this dark side that she had in her like all along.
I think one of the big parts in the film is that conversation that the parents have at night, and the kids are listening in. And remember they mentioned about Thomason that they should.
That she was like old enough
to kind of like go and start her own family or whatever.
Yeah. She was like 12 years old, so she's like an adult now. She has to.
How old was she? Nah, she's older.
I don't like remember.
15, 16.
Yeah, probably.
Around there.
Yeah, probably.
Well, anyway, just I think that has a lot to do with it, because I think in the way, there was kind of like always a side to her, but at the same time, like I think that moment was kind of like one of the moment where she realized, like, damn, like they don't even fucking want me anymore, you know, and that kind of plays into that whole thing that happens. And I think maybe the goat or Philip or the devil, whatever you want to fucking call it, he kind of like looks and says like, hey, look, like maybe this is a person that I can take with me, and eventually at the end that's what it leads up to. Then we also get that scene with when he goes into the forest, remember?
And when he finds the witch?
He finds the witch. Yeah. Which I'm assuming that's the witch that they saw at the beginning, right? The one that took the baby.
But she looked younger.
But maybe it could take a different form. You don't know. Maybe. You don't know that. Maybe it...
or maybe it was one of the other witches.
Maybe it was one of the other witches. Regardless, that's when we see Caleb when he comes back, and then he gets sick, and then he fucking dies.
And like obviously like that was like symbolism as well, when you see him kind of sit up and he has like the arms out. Obviously it's like, you know, kind of like
the cross. Yeah, so we see that, and then that's when he dies, and that's when the shit starts to fall apart. But then the rabbit that we see in the forest, is that like the devil, or is that one of the witches? I'm assuming that's the devil. Yeah,
right? I don't know. I couldn't figure that part out, like what the rabbit.
Because we see that the dad tries to shoot it, and it kicks back, and it hits him in his fucking face. Yeah. And then I don't know, maybe it's just luring him in there. That moment too when Caleb is looking at Thomason, I think maybe the witch kind of realized like, hey, you know, like I can lure him in, you know, by maybe like even sexually, you know, like attracting him sexually, and that's basically what she did, or at least that's what it looked like when he was kind of drawn to her. Yeah. He sees her and he like, it's like almost like he had like an urge, and he fucking went through, and like he walked up to her, almost like she lured him in, and he didn't really, it seemed like he didn't want to do it, but at the same time like he couldn't fight it, you know, and he just kind of walked up to her, and that's when she basically corrupts him and ends up, you know,
He got the tickle in his pickle.
Yeah, he got diddled. You know, mom was just fucking crazy from the beginning.
Oh yeah, and then the whole part where she sees Caleb holding the baby, remember, and then she takes it to breastfeed it.
And
then like you see that it's like that
the crow.
The crow, is it a raven?
I think it's, I don't know.
I don't remember, but like that blackbird is like it's like she
Picking
sees
her titty.
she sees it as her breastfeeding the baby, and really like you see like the crow or whatever it is like pecking at her tit.
The one that's like in the middle of all of it is the dad, really. Thomason is the one that she's kind of like, she looks at her parents being almost a little crazy in a way, and the mom is just like super like just she's just a fucking psycho, I think. And but the dad is, I think, kind of caught in the middle where he's kind of forcing himself to kind of teach his family and to have them follow a certain, you know, way of life, but at the same time like he has his doubts, and he has like this thing in his head where he's like, fuck, like maybe, you know, but he always goes back to like, no, we have to pray, we have to do this, we have to.
Because doesn't the mom at some point say, you know, why can't we just go back to the village or something like that?
That's what the mom said.
She's the one that I think she's the one that mentions it, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. After all that crazy shit starts happening.
Yeah, but obviously, like he's at the point where he's like, you know, we can't go back.
I kind of felt fucked up for the dad. Really, he was like the one where I was like, I just felt bad for him. You know, like everyone else. I mean, fuck the kids, they're assholes. But the dad is like the one that I'm like, damn, like this guy's kind of fucked because he's in the position to where he has to lead his whole family, but at the same time, it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, you can't. You know, you have to be there to protect them, but like you made this huge decision to leave, and now you're kind of fucked. Like what? Like you know, like I felt bad for him just because he was in that position and he was kind of thrown into it. You know. And
I mean, and you see, like they kind of left for their religious beliefs, and like now they, like from that point on, it's like everything just fell apart. Like the crops weren't working out. Like they had to like go hunt for the food. Like the baby goes missing. Then Caleb goes missing. Then he dies, and like he thinks his daughter's a witch, and the fucking twins are getting. I mean, it's just like it all just starts going downhill from there. I mean, and it's just all bad.
A lot of things you can get, I think, from a second or third viewing, even because there's a lot of things that I know I missed. If I know I paid attention a little more, I would catch on to them. But I mean, just overall, like the atmosphere of the film was just. Like, it was really creepy throughout the film, like because you always felt that there was something there, and then whenever there was a shot of like them standing by you see like the forest in the back. I was always looking in the back. I'm like, damn, like am I gonna see something? And there's a couple times when I thought I saw branches moving, and like the whole time I'm like looking like, damn, like what the fuck's gonna happen? And nothing really happens, but you know that there's something there.
Yeah, but I do kind of like that because in any other movie, you know, you would see like a face pop out or some shit, or you know, but it puts it in your mind that, you know, it makes you look for something that you think is there and it's really not.
Yeah.
And I really did like that the movie did that. See, and that's partly why I said like I'm just so torn on this movie, because there are parts of it that I like. I mean, I guess not even talking about it, I guess I appreciate it a little bit more for what it tried to do. I think just in the initial viewing, like, I don't know, like maybe I just kind of didn't appreciate it as much, but now that I kind of look back, I mean, I do want to watch it again. I mean, I don't think I loved it as much as you did. I liked it. But I definitely I'd watch it again, you know, just to pick up on the little things that I missed around the first time.
I think this is one of those movies where, like, similar to It Follows, like, I remember the first time I saw It Follows, I liked it, but with multiple viewings and kind of just thinking about it, like, I ended up, like, I love that damn movie. I mean, that was one of my favorite movies of last year, but I think this is kind of like one of those films. I mean, I loved it from the first viewing, but I think this is one of those movies where, like, a lot of people might be torn at first, and maybe with multiple viewings.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe people appreciate it a little more.
And I've seen people who say it's fucking great, and then people say like that ending was bullshit, and, you know, it was fucking dumb, and like it was all build up, set up, and then there was just no payoff at the end.
I think more than anything, it's overall, like, it's how a whole family can be corrupted. You know, maybe from just one person. A figure, Thomason, really. I mean, she's the main character, but it's kind of like the actions that she does. Because if you think about it at the beginning, she's the one that was watching the baby. Yeah. She loses the baby. Right away, it's her fucking fault. Also, like, we're kind of putting her like in the corner and saying like, "Oh, you fucked up." Like, the mom was like the one that was. I mean, I hated the mom. She was a fucking bitch. Yeah. Out of all the characters, I fucking hated the mom. But I mean, that's what the character's there for. You know, she's like the crazy one, and like, basically this one person from the family, it kind of started everything, and everything was kind of, they were all looking at her like, damn, maybe she did it, and I think it just corrupted everyone, and it just, like, at the very end, like, she ended up killing the mom, and all this crazy shit happened. So it's really, it's crazy just to see how a family can get corrupted, you know. Maybe, I mean, unnecessarily shit like this didn't happen, but it's just a cool way to show it, and how they represented it with, you know, the symbolism with, like, the witch and the goat and all that, like, just how a whole family can be torn apart over some, like, maybe, not to say stupid belief, but over a misunderstanding even, you know?
Yeah. It is really heavy on symbolism, obviously, and metaphors, and, you know, So I think initially, like I was kind of like, okay, like I mean, I kind of understood the ending, I guess, but I mean, but this is a movie where I mean, it's open to a lot of interpretation.
Yeah,
like,
you can look at it.
You can look at it from. I mean, you look at it one way, I can look at it a totally different way, and I think like I think part of it is because it's so much setup that I think really like the ending is gonna divide a lot of people. Either you're gonna like it or you're gonna hate it. And I mean, I think if you're more of a traditional movie fan and you understand great filmmaking, you're okay with the ending. I think it's more the people that kind of went in thinking there's gonna be some kind of like huge like gory bloody finale. I mean, it is to a certain extent, but I like that they didn't have to go that route. With all this setup that they didn't have to go the easy way out and just be all blood and guts and shit like at the end. So I mean, I think I was like okay. I was okay with the ending. I think reflecting back now that we got to talk about it a little bit, I think I kind of appreciate what Robert Eggers was able to pull off with this movie.
The horror films they can be really generic, but like this one, you have movies like this where it's open to interpretation, and I mean different people can look at it different ways, but I think that's the beauty of one of these films like this, where it's worth it going back and watching it a second time because you're gonna catch something that you didn't catch the first time.
Yeah.
And you can maybe look at it differently watching it a second time. And I think that's one of the great things, especially for horror films that do that, like Babadook, It Follows, or the more recent ones where these are movies that you can go back and rewatch them and you'll catch something new every single time that you see it. And I think this kind of falls in that same category. So
yeah,
I mean overall, like I thought it was really dope.
And definitely in the same way where it's like one of those movies that as you're watching it, like it really gets under your skin. It really, it really just kind of creeps you out the whole time. So I mean, on that level, it works. If you're watching this, you've already seen it. So let us know, some of the symbolism, some of the meaning that you guys took, maybe that we missed out on. Because like I said, I mean, everybody's going to see this movie kind of like in their own way. So yeah, let us know what you think down in the comments below. Hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Devils used to be gods, angels that fell from the top. There's no diversity because we're burning in the melting pot.